Coming back to that 100% jobs changing, what are the jobs that you think will be relevant 10 years down the line? Since we are talking about the next 10 years.
I think, and again, I'll pull in Isaac Asimov a little bit. I think the big change that will happen is creativity. I think a direct kind of, if you think about impact of, having a lot of power, no money, power as in electricity and that kind of power, and abundance and longevity, is that our birth rates are going to decline, like we have seen in Japan and China, of course, for different reasons, and even in India, right? As urbanization grows,
Lesser.
birth rates decline. People hate meeting each other in person because they think there's no need. Then there is holograms, so it feels like you are still in the room, but you're not. Then they become paranoid of being in the same room with a person. Because if you are in the same room with a person, now look at this, it is actually real. This is how I would think 10 years from now if I didn't know better. You're bringing in a lot of bacteria my body is not used to. I have only one life if I don't believe in, rebirth and reincarnation. You bring in a bacteria, I'm taking a risk of dying, where in an age where I can live for 300 years. And maybe I'm 70 years old, 62 years old. Why would I take the risk?
Because medicine is becoming so much better and you can still live for 300
You could,
years.
but you could introduce a bacteria that I don't have a medicine for and don't have the time to build the medicine
Fear.
for either. Fear. Paranoia.
Paranoia and fear.
Right? And so, Asimov is beautiful that way. He describes a world where viewing is the only way to meet a person. When you say, I want to see a person, you're actually meaning you are viewing the person, not seeing them in person. And everybody breaks down. The first thing to break down is children, because there are no children. So then the government or the loose government of that planet has to enforce people and say, you have to, for the goodness of the planet and the goodness of our civilization, you have to make children. So then it's a forced job to actually make children, because they're not able to make them in a laboratory for whatever reason, which probably would have happened or will happen in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But that's the world that we are going towards, in my mind, right? And so, problems actually find their own solutions. I'm a big believer of that. So when you have these problems, what do I do? No money, longevity, and all of this, no jobs. What do I do? I think the solutions will come by themselves, right?
Monish, that same platform is available for everybody. Almost the same answers would come to everybody if I give a prompt. What differentiates in that case?
That brings me to my new venture a little bit.
Humantronic.
Humantronic.
But this question was not intentional to bring you to that. But yeah.
But I'm also good at kind of analyzing these patterns and making connections. So I'm going to make this connection, if you permit me.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So what is interesting is, if you and I go to ChatGPT to find out anything or do some research, right? Your prompt and my prompt are going to lead to different answers. Okay. Now, this is very important. I think the way you phrase the question, the way I phrase the question, I think because of our nature and nurture are going to be different. That phrasing is going to be different, which means the output is going to be different. And remember, with large language models, we are still at the tip of the iceberg. We have not seen the iceberg below the water. You can see all of this evolving so quickly. That tells you that this is not going to stop very quickly. This is just the start of that wave. And the next 5 or 6 years are going to be extremely different, very different than what we can imagine today. And these models are going to be even more powerful, right? But they are going to be influenced by the prompts that you give. they are going to be influenced by the nurture, by the knowledge that you have that is locked in your brain or locked in your email or locked in your documents, right? They are going to get better when they know you better. So now you think about that, you can actually infuse your way
Character.
of thinking, your character, your personality. You can hyper personalize the model. It's still not there yet. There's a lot of research to be done, but everything's going, towards that. And that means that the way you use that tool, that technology, is yours and yours alone. I don't get the same responses, I don't get the same results as you do unless I'm working on the same problem which has only one solution. If there's a problem that we are working on which is two different potential solutions, you're going to get two different answers.